Welcome to Emotional Support Water Bottle with Hannah and Ailish. I'm Hannah.
And I'm Ailish. I watched both of the Dune movies.
I know. I'm still working on the first one because my son kept telling me it was scary.
Oh, come on.
I know. I was like, this isn't scary. So I'm still working on
but
it.
But you didn't see the second one, right? You didn't
No,
watch them out of order?
I just started that. Yeah,
okay.
I just started that. But I got to hurry up and get it done because it leaves.
Yeah, I know.
Friday.
How far are you through it?
I think I'm like half.
Okay. They're pretty long.
They are long.
Yeah. I won't give anything away about anything, but even after watching the second one, I'm confused.
I know. I definitely feel like, because even like I'm fine with like what I'm watching, but I'm like, if I wanted to watch this, I should have read the book.
Yeah, totally.
He's just getting louder.
Sounded like he was walking right
I
know. But yeah, it's definitely one where there's a lot of backstory, and it's not like hard to follow, but I don't know.
Right. I don't know the world and like any of that. So it is kind of.
Or like some of the parts, I think you've probably seen them in the first half where it's a lot of dialogue and then it's like kind of quiet and dark and then also subtitled, and you're like, well, I really have to pay attention because I'm gonna miss stuff.
I know, because I actually put on, because the kids were just like talking and stuff, so I had the subtitles on anyway because I was like, I can't really hear anything.
Yeah.
But so in the first one, is Zendaya really only in there for 30 seconds in the beginning? In the first one?
No, she comes back a little bit more, but it's basically those kind of visions.
Because as far as I got, I was like, she's literally in this for less than 30 seconds.
Yeah, it's certainly not a lot. And like the way they marketed it, they made it seem like she was in the whole thing, and she isn't. I think if she was on set, she would have had probably like one day of filming and then left. I do think though that there were times when I was watching both of the movies where I was just kind of in awe, like this would feel like I'm making a movie if I was on that set.
I literally said that too. I'm like, this feels like a movie.
Yeah.
And it's visually so cool. I'm like, I don't even like, because even the, CGI of like the giant ships or whatever you want to call them, I'm like, holy crap. Like it looks like you're literally looking at this like 100-foot.
I know. I thought it looked really good. And there were some parts where there's just things are very grand and there's a lot of people. And then when people are like dressed in specific costumes or have like weird makeup or whatever, it really transports you into a new world.
I know. I'm really curious about people who have like an actual attachment to the books, how they feel about it, and if it brought the world to life.
I know. I think it would be so cool to shoot a movie like that.
I know, like just this big epic, and you just kind of walk on to set and you're there.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, how do you even prepare for that? You walk on and it is the world, Right. And I know that some of this stuff is like they're on a set and stuff, but I know that they did do some filming in the desert for it, like not the whole thing, but yeah, which is cool.
It's cool.
Did you know, I don't know if I knew this, but Austin Butler is in the second one.
I did know that.
Yeah.
Because they were talking about how he did this extensive training for that fighting.
You can definitely tell.
Yeah, I'm excited to see him in the second one.
His role was different than things that he usually plays, and I enjoyed that from him. And I was just thinking, like, people kind of make fun of him. And I'm not saying that he's the best actor in the world, but he really does commit to a role. And I think he puts in a lot of effort.
Yes, which I respect. He's taking it seriously.
Yeah. I mean, that's nice. And the fact that I think he does choose roles, or maybe like it's more of his agent or whatever, but that challenge him and are unlike things that he's done in the past. And so he has such a wide range of work, which I like.
I know, I like that too. I will say that this movie did have a lot of random people
in it
that I didn't know were in it. Like, I didn't know Jason Momoa was
Me
in
either.
it.
I kept looking up the cast list.
Like, who's this now? I'm like, I know I've seen that lady. I know I've seen this person.
I know. So I think that you'll enjoy it. The second one, there's definitely more like, I wouldn't even say like fast paced, but more stuff is kind of going on.
Yeah, it's maybe the world is already established, so we can get more into a story. So are they going to make more of them?
I think there's at least a third.
Yeah, because I thought there was like several books, but I wondered what they were actually going to do.
With the movies. I'm pretty positive that a third is confirmed, but beyond that, I don't know. And I don't even know if I don't think
there's
that
like
they've
6 of them.
Oh God, I don't know if they'll do.
Like, what are we gonna do here?
But I don't know if they've even begun filming or anything like that.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything.
Because when did that get released? That was Was that a summer release or?
I don't remember. I just think it was this
I can't remember when the press was for that. It felt like it was
a third and final movie in the Dune universe.
So maybe the book or the movies kind of put together a couple of the books.
That could be, or maybe it could end at that.
Yeah.
Also, that seems like we'll definitely get the third then.
Yeah. I mean, I can kind of go back and forth with movies like that. I think I've said before that I do enjoy the Marvels. You know, they're just kind of fun to watch, but I'm not always super big on the ultra fantasy stuff. But this one almost gives you enough of that like human side, like real life side, and then just adding in kind of that bit of fantasy that it's not totally out there, and I can still get into it. Yeah. But so I can tick off an Oscar nom on my list. And then I text you about it. But I think I might just rent Baby Girl. Even if it's $20, I'm like, I don't care.
$20 well spent.
I know. Because at this point, there's no way it's in theaters around us still. No. And if it is, it's going to be the most bizarre showtimes.
I know, because I think I just heard somebody say that it was like already out of theaters.
Fully out of theaters.
That's what I thought, but maybe they were talking about. Maybe I'm misremembering it.
I thought about that about Nosferatu, because I was just looking it up for a social media post. If anybody wants to check out our socials, but it popped up showtimes.
Yeah, I don't know what they decide can stand, because I think Complete Unknown is still playing, and I think Wicked was supposed to still be playing.
That's a long runtime for Wicked.
But I haven't looked it up, so maybe it's done now.
They're just racking up that money.
I know. They're getting that 300s of the mill.
I know. Insane. Did you see, was that for real where Ariana Grande dyed her hair back dark?
I saw that she looked a little bit darker, but it wasn't like brown.
Back to full.
Yeah, it just looked a little darker.
Because I heard that people were saying that, but I never saw a picture. And usually something like that, it would have, if she was fully back,
right? Yeah,
it would have popped up.
From what I saw, it wasn't. It was just a little darker.
One shade.
Literally one shade. Which honestly might make all the difference at this point.
Anything would give her a bit of life. I know. We saw MGK give a little cryptic post.
But then I saw another headline that still kind of said they were broken up. But
I know, me too. So if people haven't seen this, there were TMZ reports that Megan and MGK are not on speaking terms, sources say. And the baby's due date is getting close, which we don't even know really when that is supposed to be. And then he posted a picture of himself looking very dramatic and said, like, how do sources say when the sources aren't talking or something?
When the sources haven't said.
Yeah. Something. So it's like, okay, is that him saying this is a lie, or is he just calling it out?
Completely MIA.
Totally. Like, is her Instagram even activated right now? I don't even know. But what did you think of his new facial hair?
I actually didn't mind it, but he looked like somebody else. I can't think. He almost looks like but different, thinner than Jax from Sons of Anarchy. I can't remember his real
Charlie
name.
Hunnam.
Yeah, he kind of had that vibe.
You're right,
going.
but of like taller, thinner.
Right, just like that blonde beard, the blonde.
I mean, that's my type right there. You know how I love Sons of Anarchy? I would love to see MGK riding around on a motorcycle.
Yeah. Everything's deleted except for the pregnancy post.
Wow.
She's following no one.
It's just, we don't know what's going on.
I know, and it's like, even if, whatever, if it was true or wasn't true, she gets so much hate for it. Like, it's her fault.
Right,
and like,
I know.
It's just so annoying.
No matter
no
what.
No wonder she's got it deleted.
I know. But it's not fair because we want the content.
I know, that's what I literally said. I'm like, when you had sent me that, I'm like, well, maybe she just told us. We wouldn't have to believe the sources.
I know. Just post a picture of you two together already.
Just give a little statement on your Instagram story of text. Like, we're still together. We're doing good.
Right.
So it's like, so you're not then. I don't
know. Or I was looking at that photo that he posted, like trying to dissect it and see, is there something hidden in the picture?
I was like, is that pink drink saying they had a girl and the baby was born?
I don't know. I fear that we will never know. Like, they're just not going to ever be public with anything. We'll never see this child.
Unfortunately.
It's so, if they are actually broken up and not on speaking terms, if that is true, it really is so sad. Because
I know, and I feel so bad for her. And like,
me too.
Just, when you bring a kid into the world, I'm sure they wanted it to work out. And for whatever reason, it didn't. And
I know. It's just upsetting.
I know.
And we don't even know the actual timeline. Yeah. Like, when she announced, were they even together or not? Like, we have absolutely no idea.
I know. And then just to think, like, if it is true that he cheated or was messaging other women, not even Megan is safe.
I know.
What does that mean for the rest of us?
None of us stand a chance.
Dun, dun.
I know. It just... And men wonder why we're so psycho and self-conscious because of things like this.
Megan Fox was cheated on.
I know. But anyway, I guess maybe time will tell. I
know.
Don't know.
Maybe we'll get a little hand photo of the baby.
I know. Of all their hands together.
Yeah.
Or if anything, she'll probably just post one with the kids.
Yeah.
I
thought maybe that too, but
just put MGK's finger in there. Like, come on. Give us something.
It's crazy.
I know. The other topic, which I wasn't like super invested in this, but just like, I think it's a good talking point. Have you seen all that stuff about the Bachelor alums, the Rachel?
A little bit.
Well, if you recall, I know that you didn't like watch those seasons religiously or anything, but that was the one where she had gone to an antebellum
party,
and then that's when Chris Harrison got fired.
Yeah.
So, but then apparently they were together the whole time. Like they never even broke up.
Yeah. I did see a little bit of that.
So that was like 4 or 5 years ago. I don't know how many, but I think they said that they'd been officially together for 4 years. And then there's all this stuff about like, did she find out from that social media post that they were broken up, that bizarre social media post that he put out? But then she went on Call Her Daddy, which I didn't listen, but I saw some clips. And she was saying that they had broken up and she was on a flight home by herself. And then she didn't know that he had posted or know that he had announced. Like nobody knew. And then he did and didn't tell her. And that's how everybody found out, even like her family and stuff. But I guess the reason as to why he broke up with her was because he just didn't really see himself marrying her. And I'm like, which, you know, if you don't see that, then obviously it's good that you broke it off rather than getting married and getting divorced. But how do you like not know that after 4 years?
Right.
I mean, it's not like they were super young, you know? Like how I just cannot imagine being in a relationship for that long and
then
she
be like,
yeah,
actually, I don't want to move forward.
Right. And she said that they had talked about like rings and kids and everything. It's just like, I don't know how you talk about that and are with someone for that long and then just decide
never mind. There's something else out there, or I don't know how that works, but I also feel like influencer-y type relationships do sometimes stay together because it's the brand.
Right.
And like maybe part of that was that all I know is they would post like food stuff. And it's like if they're making money off of that, it does almost seem like, well, I can hang around a little bit longer. And then when it finally came down to it, it's like, actually, I don't want to be married to you.
We're losing traction on the Instagram.
Yeah, it's like this isn't working anymore. And that would be, it'd be so hard to keep like reality and social media.
What you wonder, what is real, you know?
You're like, oh, let's take this photo together, but are we actually having conversations together? You just always wonder about that. And then sometimes I even wonder too, which it's like, it's very mean, but some of these people that just like post cute outfits or like them in a bikini or something, you're like, are you actually like having deep
real conversations?
And that's so mean and judgy, but you just have to wonder sometimes, like, do these people actually like each other when it seems like they're always so done up?
Yeah, you just have these two hot influencers. But I know it is kind of like judgy to think that, but
I can't help but think it sometimes, like especially when stuff like this happens. You're like, okay, so were you guys into each other at all? I mean, it sounds like she probably was, but it just it's like a business.
Were you both on the same page, or did one person think it was real and the other person
was like, yeah, married, or like thinking about that post?
Yeah, I don't know. I could never do something like that. Like unless we both were on the same page and it was like, this is a transactional relationship. Right. Like I couldn't do it. No. But I just felt kind of bad for her. And obviously she made the total right move by immediately going on a podcast.
A big one.
Yeah.
Too.
But it's just kind of, God, to just have that ripped away. And she's like, I, thought I knew what my life was going to be like. And now I have no idea.
I know.
I mean, that is
traumatizing.
Yeah. And it was already traumatizing to go on The Bachelor in the first place.
And then all the controversy around her.
I know.
Whew.
Poor crazy. Thing. I know. Very crazy.
Speaking of Alex Cooper, I tried an Unwell drink.
Oh my God, that is so funny that you say it because I saw it at Target. I almost bought one.
I know, because I didn't know they were at Target, and then I saw them and I'm like, okay, we'll try one. And I tried the orange hibiscus, and I didn't really like that one that much, but it could have just been because it was room temperature.
Mm-hmm.
And the strawberry one I liked more, but I had cooled it down a little bit in the fridge. But it wasn't bad. I don't know. And it said lightly caffeinated.
I didn't know that they were caffeinated.
Me either. It said lightly.
What is that?
I know. I don't know what that means. But I didn't feel like
jittery I wasn't even anything.
Yeah, I guess I wasn't even paying attention. It was fine. It just tasted like those like electrolyte.
Is that what all it's supposed to give you?
I believe so. I can't remember what else it said on the bottle, but yeah, it was like, rehydrate like this.
How much are they? Do you remember?
I don't remember.
Okay, but not like expensive.
No, but I did see they had the big cases.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, in the back of Target, kind of like when you start going by all the treats.
Oh yeah, and then the outdoor,
treats.
The
it was right
stuff.
over there.
That's where I saw they had the end cap of them. I saw the individuals, but I had seen a TikTok where somebody reviewed them, and they made the same comment as you that maybe it was because they were not chilled, but they did not like them.
They weren't. But they still just tasted like those type of drinks to me. So I wasn't like blown away or really. Me either. I've had like a couple of like the packets.
Yeah.
I can't remember what.
The only one that I've had was the liquid IV ones, which I don't have a problem with those, but I only really drink them if I'm like hungover or if I have deprived myself of water for multiple days.
You're like, I need a little something.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I was breastfeeding my first, I had those packets a lot because
to stay hydrated. Yeah.
But and they were fine, but it just reminded me of that. So I wasn't blown away by it, but I wasn't like repulsed.
That's not really something that I would buy. Like I would never buy a case of that.
No, and like it was kind of, I know her brand thing is Unwell, so it made sense, but that's actually a wellness drink.
And
so I just unless she meant like, if you're hungover, you're unwell, so drink this.
But I don't in the marketing that I've seen, it hasn't been just as a hangover remedy.
Yeah, I haven't seen that at all. Yeah. But I'm like, I don't get like, I know that's your brand, but
it doesn't really make sense.
Didn't make sense. Yeah.
Well, I mean, does that surprise anybody?
I know. I'd give it like a C+.
So average. Yeah. I haven't watched a Call Her Daddy episode in a really long time. I think the last one I saw bits of was the Paris and Nicole one, and it looked like her the upgraded like studio space that she had. But then in the clip with the one with that Rachel Kirkconnell or whatever her last name is, it was a completely different set. Like I don't know,
maybe she went
somewhere and got it done up. I don't know. And it almost felt like I like not like fully like a library that someone might have in their home, like a rich mansion and like that old library with like the dark wood and stuff like that. And it was just very strange. Like I was kind of like, maybe she was on location and they just spend a lot of money on the set.
Yeah, because that's the only thing I could think of, because I thought she had it like in almost like a closet, but like a hole. Like I thought you like walked through. I don't remember where
wasn't it at first, wasn't it at her home? Or was,
I believe so. And they would just come in and they'd go like upstairs. Right. Because sometimes she'd have those clips in the beginning and they'd be downstairs getting a drink or something.
But now I don't know if it's at a different place or if it's still there and maybe she just renovated.
Moved again?
Yeah, or? I don't know.
I mean, she probably has multiple homes.
That's true. They're right next to each other. Like Jennifer Tilly said hers. Speaking of Alex Cooper, though, this was like a funny little thing that I didn't know, but there were these pictures that I randomly popped up on our TikTok, and Spencer Pratt was a link. Apparently he had, which I don't remember this, but back in the 2000s, there was a rumor that he had leaked pictures of the Olsens or sold them. And then he's like, no, I didn't leak that one. And anyway, they had these pictures. And then this guy had more pictures that he had found, and it was the Olsen twins with these two guys that they were dating, and they're on this like Italy trip or something. And I can't remember if it was Mary Kate. I think it was Mary Kate was dating him, but I could be wrong. I just can't remember. Was dating Alex Cooper's current husband.
I think I have heard that, actually.
I was
You're like,
floored.
So is he old?
Yeah, he's older. Oh. Yeah. He'd almost be
like 10 years.
Yeah, I was going to say like a solid 10, I bet.
Because we know the Olsens, like their guy's older.
Yeah. But they wouldn't have, I bet they would be closer in age.
I know, I forgot I had heard rumblings of that. Well, he's 40.
Well, how old? She's younger than us though, isn't she? Or is she?
Oh, how did Alex Cooper get HPV?
What?
That's one of the top searches. I did not know that.
Where did that go?
That's one of the top searches.
Maybe those were the old Caller Daddy episodes before 30. The rebrand. Okay. So she's 10 years exactly.
Age. Yeah.
She's actually the same age as us.
That's crazy.
It's wild.
I didn't know he was older than her. I guess but that would make sense.
I knew he was older, but I didn't realize it was that much.
Because she kind of kept him quiet.
Oh, yeah. He was like, she had a nickname
Mary
for
Kate's
him.
38.
Okay. So that was well within an appropriate age range for her back in the day. But
yeah, I had forgot I had like heard something about that. But then it's like you don't hear anything about him at all. So
I know.
Just
like don't even know much about him, if anything, honestly. But I was just like, what? And there it was in full color. Picture them together. And Mary Kate and Ashley looked so cute.
They're so fabulous.
I know. And they looked so happy with their boyfriend. I mean, they would have been like probably early 20s at that point. It's so cute. But yeah, I just thought that was kind of funny. The random things that you find.
I know, he likes petite women, I guess.
Apparently. Yeah, apparently.
Oh my goodness. Let me see what. Hold on.
Check your notes.
What did I watched, speaking of movies that are nominated, Wallace and Gromit.
Oh, yeah, you said your son was not a fan.
He's like, I don't like this. I was like, you wouldn't get it. But honestly, I had have you ever watched one of those movies in the past? I think Wallace is the most miserable human being I've ever come across in my life. He's just so inconsiderate, and this movie just like reminded me of that. I was like, ugh,
this claymation
just the worst. He's just awful. It's like he's, got all his inventions, and he's like jamming up the toast, and he's like, ta-da, and you look over at poor little Gromit, and he's got jam all over his face, just sitting there.
No, he totally doesn't take anyone else into consideration when he's doing his stuff.
He's just awful.
I know.
But the movie wasn't bad. It was kind of mid. And I chuckled a couple times. But at first I was like, why is this even nominated? And then I'm like, oh, the claymation.
Yeah.
Because what is the benefit of doing the claymation? Like, it just seems, especially now that we have technology.
You get just nominations.
But the work that it takes just doesn't seem worth it. But I loved like when they would go in the backyard, because the whole thing was like with these gnomes that he makes that are supposed to do all your yard work, but then the penguin takes them over and then they become evil. But the backyard, when they'd go out in the backyard, it was just it looked so cool.
Cute. Yeah.
Cool. And to see all the other houses like in the background.
Yeah, so detailed.
I loved it. And I loved the way the gnomes looked. They were like scary, but like cool. Like, I don't know. It wasn't bad. That's just not my favorite type of.
Did you ever see the Shaun the Sheep?
I did. Yes.
I love the Shaun the Sheeps because Shaun is so cute.
I know. You know, how many of those movies are there?
No, there's multiple.
They pushed it so hard when it first came out, like on the advertising. Like I can remember that as a kid and be like, Wallace and Gromit.
Yeah.
And I feel like none of our cartoons had that accent or anything. So it was so fascinating just to have the accent.
So different. I know. They're kind of just like unique little movies. They are.
Yeah, because they almost have like a bit of adult humor, but then the slapstick in a way. Very unique.
I know.
It wasn't bad. It just wasn't.
It wasn't child approved, apparently. He didn't love it.
Of course, he got scared of the gnomes because their eyes were like red or green. I can't
remember.
Well,
you know what? You can't be scared of Wallace and Gromit and be scared of Dune.
Dude,
Come on.
I'm like, it's not scary. Like, not everything can be scary. And I always feel like he says that when he doesn't want to watch something.
As an excuse.
Yeah, it's like, I'm scared. Like, when we had... which one was it? Kong versus Godzilla. Which, like, okay, that could be scary. But it wasn't. And he was... screaming, hiding in the corner. I'm like, this is not scary. And I kept trying to tell him, like, Kong is good. Like, he's a good guy. Like, it was just, especially the way the movie ended up. It's like, it wasn't that scary. It was just like driving me nuts. The
reaction doesn't fit.
No, and that movie's probably rated PG-13. But it was just so. I know. I was like, and then me and my husband were like, we're not turning it off. Don't look at it if it's scaring you.
We don't need anyone in the comments.
You're evil. But it gets to a point where it's like, I know this isn't.
Yeah, like you're not legitimately scary. It's so funny, and I don't know if every kid is just different. But if that would have been me as a child, I would have just sat there and been
scared. Like, I laid awake all night. I know. Terrified, blanket over my head.
Just wait for sleep to come.
Literally, I feel like I remember I was at my mom's friend or something and they had Scream on. And the part where the blood is like all over the top of the car and like the wind. And I was like, it was me and these other kids. I don't even know how these other kids were like popping up and out from behind the couch. And like, the movie was never turned off.
No, nobody cared.
No. We were scared, and I was scared of Ghostface for a long time.
Nobody cared about what we saw. There was no censorship for us. No. Or it would be like, oh, hold on. Literally. That would be it.
I know.
Yeah, we never. But it's just, I guess it's not like a positive or a negative. It's just a neutral,
right?
And
it's just like a personality shit difference. But I just thought it was funny.
You know what scared me when I was little was the part in A Christmas Story when Flick's tongue gets stuck on the pole, because I'm like, oh my God, like if that happened. And then I think I also felt really bad that they left him by himself.
I know.
It was always just so pathetic, I guess. But it was just so terrifying that like, oh, that could really happen to you.
I know. It's funny, like what you remember from being a kid and what was scary, and like that always sat with me.
Yes, I hated that. I always thought
that was gonna happen.
Yeah. I remember too, I say this all the time, but my grandpa would watch, and I wasn't like 5. I was like 8 probably. But he would watch these war movies.
Yes, I was just going to say that. Like my stepdad even watching Legends of the Fall too young. Totally. And the part with the youngest brother getting like those would really upset me.
Yeah. And even...
you just sat there.
Yeah, totally just sat there and like... stared, like you couldn't look away, but you were like, so scared.
Death and blood and violence.
And even the ones that my grandpa would watch sometimes would be like the black and white ones or whatever. And even those, it was scary. Like there were things where I'm like, oh my God, that was so petrifying.
I know. Or in the Green Mile where I can't remember his name right now, where he hung himself.
Yes.
It's like that was so upsetting. Radio Flyer. What's that other one? Pay It Forward, where freaking Haley Joel Osment gets stabbed as a kid. It's like,
oh my God, I forgot about that
sickening.
One. We watched that one in high school too, didn't we?
We did?
I think we did. I think we might have watched that in religion. You probably blocked it out because you were, or maybe we were in different classes.
Or maybe just because I had seen it when I was younger. Maybe I didn't think anything of it.
Wow, yeah, I forgot about that movie. Yeah, no, there were a lot.
Just watching them. No big deal.
The horrors of life.
And it was always happening to children.
I know.
Makes it even more horrible.
I know. Too close to home for us as small children.
Childhood trauma. I watched Beau is Afraid.
Yeah.
Did you watch that one?
No, but I heard.
It was good. But it was something that I probably just wouldn't watch again because it was just kind of like a fun journey to see one time. But I love Joaquin Phoenix because I feel like it doesn't feel like you're watching a movie. Like it feels like you're just watching him. And he was so good in this. And just the character was so goofy, maybe.
Like most of his characters.
And he was fun. But then he was like, there would be emotional parts. And it was basically just like a long thing. Like it almost felt like 3 or 4 short stories.
Oh,
but
that's
then
interesting.
and then they like he starts in his apartment and he's supposed to go see his mom, but he like won't get ready. Like he oversleeps, won't go do it. And then he like calls back. He's like, I'm just not gonna be able to make it. And then it's like he tries to leave his apartment and it's like just horrifying for him because he's ridden with anxiety from his childhood trauma. And then he ends up getting a call that his mom passed away, and because chandelier fell on her head. It's like crazy. And he goes to try to leave the apartment again, and he just has this horrible time, comes back in, then he like finds this dead person on the ground in an apartment. Oh, he lost his keys, so he can't get back into his apartment. That's why he goes into this apartment of this passed away person, just like takes a bath. He looks up, there's somebody on the ceiling. Like it's like this whole thing. Then he runs out naked and he's like attacked by another naked man and hit by a car. Then this couple takes him, and I'm shortening this.
Yeah.
This couple takes him to live with us. They're like, we actually hit you, but it's okay because we're going to take care of you. And he's a doctor. Yeah. And then the daughter, they have like a teenage daughter, and she like goes psycho and like doesn't want him there. And she ends up like drinking paint and like dies. And then the mom chases him out, and then he runs into like this commune thing, and he sits down and they tell this whole story about what his life would be if he gets married. And he basically like loses his wife, and he finally meets up with his grown children again, and he's been separated from them all this time. And then these people come and it like starts shooting up the commune, and then he takes off running again, and he finally gets to his mom's house, and one of the like, because it's like everything it's like his like everything bad that he thinks is going to happen ends up happening.
Yeah.
So he finds out that, his dad passed away because he had a heart murmur when he was conceived, is when the dad passed away.
Oh, okay. That classic trope.
Well, and then so he never
knew his dad.
Right, but he never does it with anyone for that fear. Then he like,
that's not what I thought you were going at.
Oh, that's not where I thought this was going. Then he like meets up with this childhood girl and she's like, hey, do I still look good to you? And they're like doing it and she dies. It's not funny, but like it's like his worst fear. She dies, so they were doing it.
Oh my god.
Then
it's not over.
No, and then it's like the mom is alive still, but she isn't. I didn't really quite understand what that was. But basically it kind of implies, I couldn't tell if it was implying that she actually sexually abused him or if it was just emotional incest. I couldn't quite get a read on that, but then he leaves that and he like goes on this boat to like escape his mother. And then he ends up like at this big trial and he's like on the boat and they're like, and you did this, and his mom's sitting there and it kind of like ends with that. So it was quite the journey.
So do you think it's supposed to be just like his fears just like in his head, or
I think, but I'm not,
because that's an insane
for sure. It was instant, and like I said, I left a bunch of stuff out, but it was like we'd have, as the movie kept going, we kept getting more and more of the backstory with him and his mom.
Okay.
And so I don't know exactly what was going on.
Like is this anxiety just a trauma response, and then this whole thing is like his mind?
Spiral. Like, did he maybe, I don't even know. Like, maybe he did get hit by the car and that family like took him in.
Yeah.
And then
the daughter drinking the paint triggered him.
Like, I don't even know. Or maybe he really like forced her to do it and he's thinking he didn't. I don't know. It was a wild ride, but I did like it. But I think it was like 3 hours.
Oh my gosh.
It was long. So it definitely, but it was kind of nice because I could kind of stop after each thing. I think I still only watched it. It might have been like over 3 days because I think I put that in my Letterboxd review. I was like, we spent a lot of time together, me and Beau, over the past couple days. But I still kind of liked it. I don't think I'd rewatch it, but I liked it.
Yeah, it sounds like it doesn't sound like one where you'd be like, this is my favorite movie. I watch it every.
Well, and it felt like one of those movies too, where am I just supposed to take this as reality and for what it is, or is it not really happening? So I wish if I could have just known, like, just take it for what it is.
Yeah.
You really like it, but if I'm trying to like find deeper
meaning and stuff like that, I know and then it's like we've said this with other movies, if we would do some research maybe we would know, but it's kind of nice to not do the research, because then you're experiencing it all for the first time and you don't have other like preconceived notions or anything like that.
I know, and it sucks too, because then it's like, because I have a couple YouTube videos I was going to watch about it, just like it explained or whatever.
Yeah.
But then I can't go back and watch the movie with that new insight. Right. So it still kind of is like I don't know, all over the place.
Yeah.
Thing, but I liked it.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely sounds different.
It sure was. But the part where the girl
died,
I was like, oh my gosh.
Of course.
Like, it's exactly what he was scared of happening.
Worst fear imagined.
And it happened. Which then it kind of fell into the whole, I mean, I don't have to keep going on about it, but it made sense when he was hearing that story about how he got a wife. And then she dies, and then he has these kids, even though none of that happened. He was just being told that story. That kind of like fell in line with that. But some of the movie didn't, but I could have like missed how it all connected.
Sure.
But
wow.
It was a ride.
It sounds like a ride. Holy smokes.
Sorry, just rattling off. I did rewatch The Whale.
Oh, you did? Because that's on Netflix.
It is.
Yeah.
And I was listening to the podcast, The Next Big Picture, and they were talking about it. I'm like, I kind of want to rewatch it, but I kind of didn't because it was so tragic.
It was. What'd you think about it the second time?
I thought the second time it felt more like a play, and I know it's based off a play or whatever, but it felt more like that this time. I'd say it still held up for me, but I felt like the ending was a little less impactful, because I feel like when we were watching that the first time, because we went and saw it together.
We did, in theaters.
You kind of wondered, like, did she stay or didn't she stay and read at the end? But the second time, I felt like it was more clear that she didn't stay and like left, and then he died. Well,
and that whole ending scene was so powerful on the big screen too.
Yeah, and just like have it, because we hadn't seen the play. I had no idea where this movie was gonna go. It's like you knew he was gonna pass, but you didn't really know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's still held up.
Yeah.
But definitely don't need to rewatch a third time.
And certainly not frequently.
Yeah, because it's such a heavy movie.
Yeah.
And I felt like I noticed a lot more of like themes. Like it almost had too many themes.
Really?
I mean, not like it all was fine, but just like the religious trauma.
Yeah.
That,
it's so interesting when you watch a movie like that a second time, because you really do catch a lot of things that you didn't the first time.
Whoa. Yeah, it was shit. I mean, yeah, it was.
But I mean,
wild.
how often, like, I don't rewatch dramas that often. No, because
they're usually hard to rewatch unless it's been several years. And I'm like, I think I liked this movie. And then like watching it as more of an adult is kind of interesting. But
I saw Hereditary was on Netflix too. You said you watched it, and I almost put it on, but I did Dune instead. But I really don't know.
I know
if I can go back.
I know it was a hard watch this time. I will say I found it less scary this time.
I always feel like that was scary movie. So once I've seen them one time, because
they're not scary anymore.
No, they're not. Yeah, and I saw that one in theaters when it came out, and that like
freaky.
It packs a punch. Those scary movies in a dark theater when you've got all the sound around you.
You have no idea what's going to happen next.
Like it totally does scare you.
Yeah, because that movie almost. You start to get these little inklings that there might be some paranormal stuff, but then when it finally
happens,
you're like, woo.
I know you get that feeling in your belly, and
it's just like,
your heart's racing.
Scary.
I know. Yeah, I used to go to movies all the time. Like I do miss going to movies, but I think it's like a time thing too. Like just in general, people aren't going as much. Like we're not even going as much as we used to, and we didn't even go that often before. But my cousin would love to go to the movies, and we would go like if he was just bored. Like during the week or on the weekend, he'd be like, "Want to go see a movie?" And so I saw some movies I had no intention of ever wanting to see in theater, but he wouldn't care. He just like would like to see them.
Hang out. There really is something so magical about the big screen.
I know,
and, like,
there really
sound
is. Yeah, it's an experience.
And just like sometimes even being with other people.
Yes, like, I know. To experience it like
as a whole.
Yeah.
I get so jealous when I hear people talking about how they went to like a screening of it, and the audience was like cheering and stuff. I'm like, half the movies I saw last year, it was like 5 people.
The only time recently that we were at a packed theater was Barbie.
Yeah.
And where people actually were like laughing together and having reactions together. And I do love that. I mean, I think that's the whole point of making movies.
I know. And I just remember even this, like every time a Conjuring movie would come out, you're sardined in there. And it was just so fun to watch everybody like jump.
Yes, I know. Or all the Harry Potters, remember?
People would be like dressed up.
Yeah, and the midnight screenings.
Yes, those were, But it'd be like $5.
Yeah, it wasn't expensive
to go to the theaters. Now it's like 50
I know.
for 2 people and your popcorn
with your snack.
You're like, whoa.
And of course, we can't just get one thing.
No, you have to have the salty and the sweet.
Yeah, and a
some
drink.
Water.
Because
you have to have their $6 smart water.
I know. Sometimes we'll get a slushie, a freeze, an icy. Depends on the flavors. But yeah, I don't know. I also wish the theater, I mean, you have nicer theaters around here, but the theater that is closest to me, it's not bad, but I don't know. There's something about like theater where you like to feel almost anonymous going in, and when you're in like a smaller town and there's nobody else in the theater, you just feel a little weird.
Creeper. Yeah. Like some freaky.
Especially if you're going by yourself. Like, I think I said this on the pod before, but when I went to college, there was this smaller theater that was just down the little ways from campus, and they would always show these like great movies and like foreign films and all these things, and I would go there by myself like all the time, and it wasn't weird. Like,
no, now you risk being literally the only one in the room, which is like even a little bit scary. I mean, it's kind of a weird.
Yeah, and I know they have to play the movie, but you feel weird.
Like, thanks.
Like, God, I'm really putting them out. They have to play this just for me. And then it feels like you can't, I don't know, maybe enjoy it as much.
Yeah,
like,
because
even
you
if
just
we
feel
go
like
together,
I'm the freaky, like you just feel like the people are out there talking about you or something. There's this freak going to see this.
I'm the only one in there. Because even when I went to see The Substance, like I wanted to see that so bad I didn't even care. But I was kind of like in a way glad when some other people came in.
Yeah,
because
like, okay.
Yeah, I'm like, well, I don't really want to be the only one.
I know. I think when me and my husband went and saw it, we were the only ones in there. But it was like 9:30 in the morning.
Yeah, it was super early, and it's when you're with somebody. Yeah, it's like you like feel a little bit better. Weird. Yeah.
Nosferatu had people in it. We actually had the people that were like next to us left. Like it kind of
really like because they didn't. Care for it.
I think so because it kind of started because I mean that movie kind of has like some dark like possession-y parts of it, and that's kind of when they left. Like they weren't there very long at all.
Wow.
Like, did they really just leave? But who knows? Maybe there's a family emergency. I don't know.
No clue. But I was like, you would think that you should know a little bit of what you're getting into.
It was like they were probably out of high school, but they were a younger couple.
Wow. Yeah, I would have thought older.
No, young.
Interesting.
It was weird.
But can't hang.
Nope.
These youngins can't hang. I know. I told you I wanted to rent that one, but I'm like, damn, $20.
I know. That's like, I don't
for renting.
Get that. Well, but then I was trying to think. I was like, probably in California, it's probably about $20 for your ticket. So I'm like, maybe that's the average. Well, we need
a sliding scale by state or something.
That's what I think too. Because what's the point? Like if it's $4, I'll get it. But 20, I'm like, I don't know. And then it's probably like 11 to buy it.
Right.
And you're like, but what am I gonna do with
this film? I'm probably not gonna ever watch again. And then I'll wait a couple more weeks, and it's on wide streaming, and I don't have to pay for it. Right. You know. But it's just annoying, and I know nobody cares. But it's just annoying when you do want to watch the Oscars and you'd like to be able to see these films and you can't, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like The Brutalist, like I won't be able to watch that one. I was
thinking that too. I'm like, that's not even in the realm of me watching.
I know. Speaking of,
such a wonder.
You said there were kind of like little breaks in Beau's Afraid. I guess there's an actual intermission.
I saw that. I was like, whoa.
I know. It's like Gone with the Wind.
So I wonder, I wonder when it does.
I don't know.
It's kind of, nice though. Like go to the bathroom.
Well, but that's what they used to do. Like with Gone with the Wind. I mean, obviously that movie's, you know, a classic. I guess maybe that's controversial to say now, but it is. And from back in the day, and like they would put up intermission or like end of act or whatever, and then everybody would go to the bathroom and stuff, and then you couldn't watch at home and pause it. Like you only had the theater. So it's kind of fun to bring that back. Like obviously if we're watching at home, we do have the capability to stop it when we want. But you know, I don't know.
It's kind of nice to like take a breather.
Yeah.
Oh, it's coming back on.
Yeah, I know. Something we haven't seen in a while.
No, we haven't. I was listening to a podcast and they were talking about Amelia Perez, which I do still want to watch me love it or something.
I want you to watch it so
I know,
bad.
hopefully. Well, I don't know if I'll get to do it this weekend, but maybe like a Friday night or something. They were talking about how the Academy just like loves this movie and they think it's so cool and such a risk. And they were talking about how even James Cameron loves this movie and was like, this is crazy. And they were talking about what a big disconnect from like the audience to the Academy, just like absolutely loving this. But I've been seeing stuff about that it's fitting their agenda with AI.
I mean, because, you know, it's about like the Hispanic and trans communities. And I have heard like some backlash, I guess, from those communities that it like just fits into stereotypes. And then there's a song, because you know it's a random musical through the whole thing about like the trans surgery, and it's literally like penis or vagina, like that's literally the song. It's like that was where it fully lost me.
It's okay. So again, are we supposed to take this movie as this over the top camp thing?
Yeah,
but we don't really see that a ton with the Academy.
No.
And for it to almost be the most nominated ever,
and it when you were watching it didn't even give that feel that it was supposed to be leaning into that.
Like it was serious.
Yes. And like I said, the 50 other times I've talked about it, I'm not saying that the acting was bad. Like Zoe Saldana, I think, does a good job. And I think it is very powerful when you can speak like your language in a film.
Right.
But it's just like, I just didn't think it was good. I just did not think it was good. Like there were enough things about it that I just cannot say the creative liberties overshone the like production value, I guess I would say. And I don't get it. Like by like you said, the Academy and other people in the industry, like I just do not understand.
They're like, whoa, yeah, they're just so enamored by how over the top and bold that it is.
But I just want you to see.
I know. Well, it just feels like, why has other things not gotten that type of recognition? And maybe this one's even more over the top and bold, but I don't know.
But just the fact that, like, I saw, you know, you watch one clip on YouTube or on TikTok and your whole feed blows up. But
I know, you're like, gosh, I just wanted one
I
video
know,
about
now I can't
hair
escape
product.
it. I know. But they were talking about, like, Amelia Perez, and there was a lot of the people on TikTok that were kind of criticizing it and giving their opinions. And they were just saying a lot of the same things that like I felt, and just like that they can appreciate when something is different and boundary pushing, but this just felt like they were trying to throw everything together to be boundary pushing in every single way.
Right. And sometimes musicals are like that, but it almost feels like it wants to be a drama.
Yeah.
But a musical where, I don't know, like a Wicked feels like a musical, but there are drama moments.
Right.
I don't know. It'll be interesting. One other thing they said too was that, I don't know if you had heard this, but they're not performing any of the
yeah, I did see that
songs for Best Picture, which is, and then they speculated that they're probably going to do a big thing with Wicked.
Well, I think they were saying that on The Town. I don't know if you listened to that episode, but
I don't think I listened to that one yet.
They said that exact same thing, that the reason maybe they don't want them to do all the songs was because they want to lean in to Wicked, and so that they have the flexibility to like do more of that than just the ones that are nominated.
We're getting some Ariana Grande performances.
But I just, with I don't want to talk Amelia Perez to death, but when you do hear like people on TikTok were throwing up the numbers of like the most nominated or other highly nominated movies, and when I see those movies or ones that are like amazing movies and got less nominations than this,
it just doesn't make sense.
To me, it totally just negates the Academy altogether. Like, this is a joke.
Yeah, the podcast was they're like, it's almost like a detriment to the movie because it's going to make people talk about how bad it is even more.
Yeah.
And can't believe why it's getting all these nominations.
I mean, again, like I
gotta watch it. Then we can talk about it more.
I didn't finish it. I will not.
Oh, you still
I don't think I'm gonna go. I'll see how much I have left, I guess, and if I can sit through it. But I can admit, I think when a movie was good, but just not my cup of tea. But this one, the fact that I literally have tried 3 times to start and get through this, and I haven't been able to, I don't think I've ever done that about a movie before. Like, thank God that this is on streaming, or else I would have been the one to walk out of the theater probably.
Get me out of here.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. We talked a lot about the movies last week, but I don't think I'm going to be able to see like a bunch more before.
I know. Well, and they were talking about The Apprentice too, and Sebastian Stan and stuff.
Well, I heard that movie wasn't that great, but he did a really great
that's what
job.
They were saying. They were saying the screenplay wasn't great, but him and Jeremy Strong did a really good job. And I am kind of like curious about it, and I felt kind of bad for Sebastian Stan because it's like you're playing this like hated man, and he's like, I want people to see this because there's a story. Yeah, he's like, there's like a story, and I think it also maybe came out of just terrible timing.
I know, totally,
which kind of sucks.
But it was weird though. Like, The Town talked about this, I remember, before the movie even came out. But like, who was this for? Because they kind of, on, if you wanted to say like both sides of the fence or party line on this one, like had people who would have had negative things to say about it from both camps. So I guess I don't really know who was the target audience. Right.
Did we want to I guess I don't even, if it's just focusing more on his earlier time.
Yeah, like his beginnings.
Yeah. So where did we want to humanize him? Well, and they were saying that on The Town or whatever, they were saying, like, obviously he's such an easy person because of his mannerisms to like make fun of him and make it feel like an SNL skit, but that the way he played him, it felt like a real person.
Interesting. Yeah.
So it's just interesting if they were trying to humanize him or if they just really wanted to, because I don't really know exactly what the movie's about.
I don't know. I know that it's about like his, like some mentor, right?
Yeah.
That kind of helped him in his start in business, but I don't know details at all.
Yeah, I'm just gonna see what it says.
I just felt confused by
it just seems
in general. But
it might be a story worth telling, but I don't know.
The time is very strange.
It is.
Because we don't get political on this podcast, but if the vote had gone the other way, I don't think it would have encouraged people to go see it either.
Right. Like it could have went.
Like I don't really get, I don't know. The timing is just really weird.
It is. And then you know, I know it has already been out, but just the award season and him like getting nominated is right around the inauguration.
Right. I know.
Like just a strange.
Very odd.
It's because it came out in October. Which would have been literally right before the election.
Yeah.
That's insane. A young Donald Trump, eager to make his name as the hungry second son of a wealthy family in the 1970s New York, comes under the spell of cutthroat lawyer Roy Cohn. Cohn sees in Trump the perfect protege, someone with raw ambition, a hunger for success, and a willingness to do whatever it takes to win. So.
Interesting.
Yeah. So like that doesn't. I don't know. I guess I don't know when you could have put this movie out where it would have been like, yeah, let's hear this.
Hold on a second.
Oh no, what?
My battery's gonna die.
Oh, on the computer.
Yeah.
Oh, we're almost done.
Happened before. All right, can we do it in 8%?
Yeah.
Okay.
We could be done.
I feel like we can do it.
Yeah, we could be done.
Yeah. I don't even have anything else to really talk about, honestly. Okay.
Anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, but I mean, I won't see that movie. I don't really have that much of a.
No, especially if people are saying it's like not a good screenplay or like story, really. But.
I did. Somebody I know went to see A Complete Unknown and they did enjoy it. However,
yeah, I've heard a lot of people are liking it. I'm just skeptical because they already have it in the award season.
I know. But they would be Bob Dylan fans. I don't know if that makes a difference. I'm sure I think all the movies where there's music involved is fun. And like you do know Bob Dylan songs, right, even if you didn't realize it was Bob Dylan. But that would be a movie I would probably watch on a random weekend once it comes out on streaming.
Yeah, just to see.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Last thing before we sign off, did you see how he said he gained 20 pounds for that role? I'm like, where?
Well, when I was looking at the photos of him, I almost like just from the movie, it just seemed like he just had like more layers on, but that Bob Dylan does kind of have that like different body type in a way.
Yeah.
And he really did look like it now that somebody pointed it out. Like, I'm like, oh yeah, I guess he kind of did. Like, I could kind of tell like in his neck a little bit, but he's obviously back down.
Back down to that solid 110.
Of course, guys can just
easily
literally probably just
weight.
Smoked a couple cigarettes
and they skipped one meal and it was back off. I know. Ran one time. Well, we're gonna wrap it up. This is a little bit shorter of an episode. We're running low on battery.
We gotta cut it short.
But thanks for listening. We already said check out our socials. Please leave us a nice little 5-star rating, a review if you have a moment. That would make our day. And we will see you next week.
Bye.